What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm JabhiM, 3-time Repo Hit the Streets champion. Last weekend we got treated to the Street Fighter 6 closed beta and man was it amazing. I'm going to give you the breakdown, the overview on everything that has changed from Street Fighter 5 to Street Fighter 6. I'm just going to give you a breakdown on the whole thing so you can know what to expect, you know. So without any further ado, I want to first just let you know what we have access to, what we had access to. We only had access to Battle Hub. So there's 3 modes in Street Fighter 6. There's obviously the World Tour, single player content, the single player mode. And then you got Fighting Ground, that's your traditional, what you normally find in your Street Fighter games. Then you have Battle Hub. So Battle Hub is essentially CFN mixed with access lobbies in a 3D environment. That's the easiest way I can put it, you know. So when you start Battle Hub, but you need to create your own character, you know, the customization is insane, you know. I didn't really spend much time because I just wanted to go into the meat and potatoes, which is the gameplay, you know. So after I created my character, loaded up the servers, I'm not really going to touch too much on that, but yeah, loaded the servers. It's going to show you a bunch of rooms. It'll show you which one is crowded, which one is not crowded. So if you don't want something that's crowded, you know, you can simply just choose a different room, you know. You go into your room, you'll see a bunch of cabinets, you know. What you're gonna do, you're gonna sit down. It's gonna give you the option to either, you know, just wait and not do anything, or you can go into training mode while you wait for a match. Take note, you cannot reject a match once someone challenges you to a match. So you got that nostalgic feel when it comes to the arcades, you know, because I think that's what they were going for. So yeah, then you can go into training mode. The training mode was fantastic, you know. It should really be a standard for fighting games, you know, with what they have to offer. They had the frame meter, so you really can know when you are minus or when you are plus, which I'm gonna get into that later on. But speaking about the Battle Hub, what you could also do, there was there was a game center where you could play retro games, you know. I tried booting up Final Fight, but it didn't load on my side. There was also another portion where you could play Extreme Battle. I'm not really into that. I just wanted to get into it, you know, and start playing, you know. So that's gonna point me to point number 2 when I'm gonna talk about the gameplay. What's changed between Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 6? Now, we're not gonna talk about the graphics. They look amazing. It is a huge improvement from Street Fighter 5 to Street Fighter 6. But there's something there that's like, yay, you know, in Street Fighter 6, every medium button is minus. The only medium button that was plus is like Luke's crouch medium. But even then, like, the pushback is insane. You know, frame traps are essentially, I don't want to say they're essentially gone, but there's less frame traps. You know, in Street Fighter 5 there's a hell of a lot of frame traps, but in Street Fighter 6 there's less frame traps, you know. But there is a huge emphasis on punishing moves that are minus, because in Street Fighter 5, when you punish a move that is minus, your reward is just that small damage or whatever damage you're gonna get. In Street Fighter 6, you get a counter hit combo, because whenever you punish somebody that's minus, they go into a punish counter state, so they're still recovering, you know. So they go into a state that's called punish counter. So even when you whiff punish someone, you're now essentially getting rewarded, you know. So now you're gonna have to space out your buttons, because after a medium punch, you literally have to block. With Chun-Li, what I was doing, and I found it worked nicely, is I would press a stand medium punch, and then I'd wait. If I see someone challenge me with their own stand medium or with their own medium button, what I do, I then try to whiff punish that button, you know, because that's generally where I feel the game is going, you know. It's going to be all about whiff punishes and so forth. Going on to point number 2, I want to talk about modern controls and classic controls, you know. Though after playing the game, I can say for certain modern controls are just for people trying out the game. I played on modern controls. If you're used to playing If you're used to playing on classic, it's gonna feel like a different game when you're on modern. You know, there's certain things I wanted to do. I tried to whiff punish with sweep, and then I realized, shit, I don't have access to sweep on modern controls. So you don't have access to a lot of moves on modern control. You know, I don't really want to dive too much into modern controls and classic, but I don't see people on modern controls winning tournaments. Maybe they can, but who knows? You know, I want to move on to specifically. I want to talk more about the gameplay. You know, so obviously there's some new mechanics besides the changes on the frame data. You know, I want to talk about the mechanics. You had your parries, drive rush, drive impact, all part of the drive gauge. You know, the drive gauge is an interesting mechanic in itself. You know, I saw a lot of people who I played Street Fighter 5 with blow their meter in 2 seconds. You know, and some guys got angry when I realized that, okay, if I attack here, there's a chance I might go into burnout, and I literally just, like, you know what, I stayed far away, you know, and just waited for them, you know, like they also stayed far away. They thought I was turtling, but they didn't realize that I'm actually building my meter back. You know, how do you get the meter back? Is obviously if you don't get attacked, it's gonna auto regenerate. If you attack, it regenerates faster. So if you throw fireballs, he blocks it, you get some drive gauge. You know, drive impact. It's a very fun mechanic. I'm gonna say, I'm probably the only one who's probably gonna say that. It's a very fun mechanic. It's so satisfying hitting someone with drive impact. At the same time, you feel so salty getting hit by drive impact. But once I started putting it in my mind, the visual cue of drive impact, I started getting hit less and less. I was able to perfect parry it or drive impact back. You know, it's a very strong mechanic, but it's also a high risk, high reward. You're probably seeing it right now on screen. You know, everybody was just throwing it out, you know. But there's some frame traps that were started, or kind of frame traps, you know. What I was doing with Chan, I would go for a safe jump, do crouching heavy into drive impact. Nobody was ever blocked that. And the one time when I'm like, okay, I've done it too much, I did the safe jump, crouching heavy into the EX fireball, which is, well, -3 on block, you know, and which means I'm not plus, I'm minus. But luckily in Street Fighter 6, there is nobody with a 3 frame. Fastest buttons are 4 frames. So if I'm -3, I'm safe on block. So what my opponent would do, they would think, okay, he's gonna drive impact now. Let me press mine now and anticipate it. But when I do the crouch, since the crouch heavy is special cancelable, I can cancel and drive impact. So when I see they drive impact, I'm like, okay, drive impact back. Now you're in the corner. Now you lost drive meter. Chances are the next hit might put you in burnout, and you will essentially be stunned. So I was doing that, and damn, it was working. Everybody got hit by it, you know. Everybody got hit, which brings me on to the next mechanic, which is drive rush. Drive rush for me worked a lot better when I was whiff punishing something from a far distance. So drive rush is essentially a combo extender, but it costs 3 drive gauge, you know. But players are using it in a really fantastic way, if I do say so myself, you know. What was happening was I was using drive rush only in like combos, especially when I'm whiff punishing somebody. You know, I would do drive rush. Like if they did a low forward, I would whiff punish the low forward with my low forward into drive rush, because it gives the next button extra frames. You know, so if I did low forward drive rush into medium, I can do back heavy into the stance and something else. You know, so and get good damage. You know. Drive rush is a really strong mechanic. I don't want to lie, it's a strong mechanic, because even overheads, anything that comes after a drive rush is plus. Even the overhead is flipping plus. So if you block a drive rush, just know you just gotta keep blocking. You know, unfortunately that's just it. You just gotta keep blocking. What I saw that was very interesting when I was playing Phenom, he was using Drive Rush, and I saw it's not just him. Most of the pro players were using Drive Rush as a way to get Oki. So what I mean by that, they'll do the BNB combo with Ryu. They wouldn't have Oki, but they do a parry, cancel into Drive Rush because it costs one drive gauge, and then they'll go for, and then they'll give them, then they'll have Oki by then, you know. Already they super plus. They would go for the overhead, which is you block correctly, yay, good for you, but I'm still plus. So they were doing those kind of things, and I was like, okay, there's gonna be a lot of tech coming out when the game is released. You know, it should be very interesting. You know, there's so much freedom with how you want to play. Honestly, you know, there's so much freedom in SF6. You know, but anywho, let's talk about parries. This is the one mechanic I think. Oh snap! And I also forgot the drive reversal. You know, the reason I forgot about that is that the fact that nobody used it. You know, and here's the thing. Here's the biggest change as well. In Street Fighter 5, if you do a drive reversal or that which is a V reversal, it essentially just throws the opponent back to neutral. Some escape the corner. But if it's a strike one and and it causes a knockdown, when you dash after the V reversal, you are not plus. You are -2 at best, so safe on block. But in Street Fighter 6, if you successfully drive reversal somebody, you are plus if you dash. So that's a big change, but nobody was using it much, because obviously when you're coming from Street Fighter 5, you look at it as pointless. You know, you're gonna think it's gonna get thrown, but in Street Fighter 6 you can't throw a drive reversal. You can parry, you can't DP, you can super hits, you can parry, you can drive impact, you can neutral jump it, but you can't throw or DP. Now let's talk parries. The normal parries are pointless. They're only there to build meter. I'm being honest. If you parry somebody's attack, chances are they're not gonna complete their string, and they're gonna walk up and grab you because you can't tech while you're still in the recovery of a parry. You can block. You can still block, but you can't tech. Perfect parry is your go-to option, but you have to be precise with that. You know, perfect parry is your go-to option because it essentially switches the tide and gives you an advantage. It gives you an opportunity to strike back. But I only see people using perfect parry against Kimberly most of the time. You know, most of the time, a lot of people are going to be using perfect parry against Kimberly, to be honest. You know, but other than that, oh yeah, and perfect parrying fireballs. You know, that's where I see it. But other than that, I look at them as quite useless. You know, the perfect parries are not. I'm being honest. Like, I mean, the parries in general, they're not really something that you want to be utilizing a lot. You know, but yeah, let's move on. You know, let's move on to the netcode. Oh my goodness, this thing was fantastic. Oh, so I pushed my luck with the netcode as well. You know, the netcode, I knew against guys in SA is gonna be fantastic. You know, the pings were like from 0 to 60. You know, and then when we played Middle East, it was like 130, and that's very playable. Honestly, 130 is quite good. You know, when I played UK, it was 180, and it was still good. You know, if I'm playing Sweden was also 180. Norway was 180 to 200. Yeah. US was 250, but it wasn't. In the US is 250, but there is a big but. It's like 3 bars in Street Fighter, you know. And here's now the kicker. So I played guys in Nigeria. The ping was 250, which is a bit bad, you know. That's like 2 bars in Street Fighter 5. And then I played Cameroon, which was also 280, and that's also a bit bad, you know, which is real shocking. Which will probably be because it'll probably be because of how the network is routed and so forth, you know. But other than that, we couldn't get good games. We played, but we couldn't get good games. We'd get good games with UK, you know. I mean, yeah, UK, Europe in general. We got some good games. Mozambique, obviously, we get some good games. Kenya, Zambia, Madagascar as well. We had some good games, you know. So, but when you go to West, and we didn't try North much, but West, it was a bit of a problem, you know. But all in all, the netcode is really fantastic, you know. But yeah, guys, that's my overview on Street Fighter 6. How I feel about the game, I honestly feel it's gonna change everything, you know. I honestly feel it's gonna change everything, and fundamentally it already changes everything. I'm quite happy because I'm not really the kind of player that likes to be stuck in the old way. I'm all about adapting, you know. So this is gonna be the game where it's really gonna test if you are able to adapt to come from Street Fighter 5 to Street Fighter 6. I do see Street Fighter 5 players doing good, honestly, because already you can see the pros are doing magic, you know. You can see the pros are doing magic. But in general, I think in SA, your top 8 Street Fighter 5 players are going to have a hard time in Street Fighter 6. That's my honest opinion, but I think they're going to enjoy Street Fighter 6 in my honest opinion. They're going to enjoy Street Fighter 6. I played with Billy. He loves Street Fighter 6. I played with Hart. He loves Street Fighter 6. I'm looking forward to the learning curve. What I want is for SA this time to not really slack behind. What I mean by that is we can definitely become high level if we really spend time sharing information, you know. But yeah, guys, anywho, let me know what you think of my explanation of the overview of Street Fighter 6 in the comments below. Check me next time. I got a killer theory video coming up, you know. I said it on stream. Even the guys, when I said that, they were like, "Yay, I think you're onto something," you know. I just want to write the script down, get it, just be on point with it, you know. But yeah, guys, anywho, catch me next time. Cheers.